Life, much like any machine, is designed to function in a certain way, and when it operates within that natural rhythm, things work harmoniously. However, when we push ourselves too hard, trying to live up to expectations or meet deadlines, we experience exhaustion. This tiredness is not a sign of failure, but an invitation to return to the present moment. Eckhart Tolle teaches us that we are not supposed to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. It is only when we resist what is happening, when we fight against our fatigue or stress, that we worsen our situation. This resistance stems from the mind's tendency to project into the future or dwell in the past, pulling us away from the present moment where true peace resides. Imagine for a moment you are a machine that requires fuel to run. If you fill it with the wrong fuel, the engine will not run properly. Similarly, when you try to run on mental tension, stress, and constant worry, it will eventually break down. The engine is meant to run on the fuel of the present moment. Eckhart Tolle's teachings emphasize that the present is all there ever is. In his book, The Power of Now, he says, "Realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. Living in the past or the future only creates emotional and mental strain. So, when we face exhaustion, whether physical or emotional, it is because we've left the present moment behind. When we are tired, the mind often tries to tell us that we need more, that we need to do more, that we are not doing enough. But this is the mind's constant chatter, pulling us into a state of urgency. In A New Earth, Tolle explains, "You do not become good by trying to be good, but by being good, by accepting who you are." This acceptance is key to understanding your fatigue. Instead of running away from your tiredness or labeling it as something negative, Tolle urges us to accept it. Accepting our tiredness allows us to let go of the mental noise that makes it worse. The more we resist our exhaustion, the stronger it becomes. As soon as we stop struggling against it, the energy we need to heal can flow through us. We are often told that we need to push through exhaustion to succeed, that if we just keep going, we will overcome it. Yet, when we push too hard, we only burn out. The truth is, the more we resist what is, the more we prolong our suffering. This is why Tolle advises us to embrace the present moment and accept where we are. Surrender to what is, say yes to life, and see how life starts working for you, Tolle teaches. When we surrender to our tiredness, we allow ourselves to be present with it. Only then can we find peace and rest. Consider the many moments in your life when you felt completely drained. Perhaps after a difficult project, a challenging time in your personal life, or a string of events that just seemed to take everything out of you. In those times, the mental and emotional exhaustion is often coupled with a sense of frustration. We feel as though we should be doing something, achieving something, and that our tiredness is a barrier to progress. Consider the presence of a teacher whose words accompany you every step, reminding you that you are asleep. But if we stop and take a moment to truly experience our tiredness, we begin to see that it is merely a signal to slow down, to pause, and to reconnect with the present moment. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle reminds us that the mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very destructive. This is where we often go wrong. We live in a world that values constant productivity. Our culture rewards hustle and action, but this constant striving leads to burnout. The more we push ourselves, the more we disconnect from the present moment. Our minds become preoccupied with what needs to be done next, and we lose sight of the importance of simply being. When we stop and accept where we are, we stop the mental noise and give ourselves permission to rest. What happens when you accept that you are tired? Instead of fighting it, You allow your body and mind to rest. Tolle's teachings emphasize the need for stillness, for allowing ourselves to be. In his book, A New Earth, he writes, "Whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from the world." This is a powerful reminder that by not accepting our tiredness, by not allowing ourselves to rest, we are withholding the potential peace and calm that exists within us. When we give ourselves permission to rest, we allow ourselves to be in alignment with the flow of life. We stop fighting against the natural rhythms of our existence and instead embrace them. No one is exempt from moments of exhaustion. Everyone faces challenges, and everyone feels tired at some point. It's easy to feel as though you're the only one, especially when it seems that everyone else is constantly busy, constantly achieving, and constantly moving forward. But remember, tiredness is not a sign of weakness. It is simply a reminder that you are human. You have limits, and that's okay. When we acknowledge our tiredness, we stop comparing ourselves to others. We stop measuring our worth by how much we can do or how fast we can achieve things. Instead, we recognize that we are enough just as we are, even when we are tired. Tolle teaches us that the mind often creates stories around our exhaustion. We tell ourselves that we are failing, that we are falling behind, or that we are not doing enough. These stories are not based in reality. They are simply narratives the mind creates to keep us in a state of unrest. When we are present in the moment, we see things as they are. We can accept our tiredness without judgment. The key is not to fight it, not to judge it, and not to try to fix it. Instead, we simply breathe and allow ourselves to be exactly where we are. In moments of fatigue, when life feels difficult or overwhelming, it is important to remember that you are not alone. Everyone at some point faces the same challenge, the need to rest, to step back, and to reconnect with the present. The present moment is always available to us, and it is in the present that we find true peace. Tolle writes, "You are not your mind. The mind will tell you that you need to push through, that you need to do more, that you need to keep striving. But the truth is, the present moment is all you need. When you accept where you are, when you accept that you are tired, you open up the possibility for healing, for rest, and for renewal." The practice of accepting your tiredness is a radical one in today's world. We live in a society that values productivity over presence, action over stillness. But true peace comes not from doing more, but from being. When you accept that you are tired, you make space for the stillness that Eckhart Tolle speaks about. This stillness is not empty, it is full of peace, full of presence, and full of the potential for healing. A temptation to assert our will arises, nevertheless, when we are kept waiting for what feels like an endless amount of time, when our desires go unmet, and the passage of time seems to drag on. Maybe you're feeling this way today. After all your waiting, hoping, and trusting, nothing has shifted. The question, "What if?" creeps into your mind, and before you realize it, you're tempted to give up on life and your beliefs because things haven't unfolded as you expected. However, I must ask, how much time does life have to convince you to surrender to the flow of the present moment? How much longer will you wait before you abandon the peaceful acceptance of life as it is? Keep in mind that the timing of life is different from your own. Therefore, as you wait, do not give in to the need to force things. When it feels like time is running out, trust that the moment is always perfect. Remember that life is working on your behalf, even in the midst of your waiting. Thus, maintain your trust, patience, and presence. Think about the wisdom in Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. He reminds us that the present moment is all we truly have, and it is in this moment that transformation can occur. There is no point in dwelling on what hasn't come yet or what may never come. Instead, we can choose to embrace this moment as it is, without resistance. End quote. A helpful reminder can be found in Tolle's teachings. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Life unfolds as it should, and worrying about the future only keeps us trapped in the mind. Our thoughts about what might happen are not reality. They are simply mental projections. By releasing the need to control the future, we open ourselves up to the peace that exists in the now. In sacred nature, all things come to pass. Our life returns to reality, to the present. Remember, the delays, the waiting, and the unmet desires are not signs of failure or abandonment. They are simply opportunities to experience life more fully in the moment. Tolle's words reflect this truth when he says, "Whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from the world." The way forward is not through struggling against time, but through accepting it, trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. The second principle, patience, is living in the now. In A New Earth, Tolle explains that patience is not simply about waiting. It is about being present with whatever is happening in the moment. Patience is not a passive waiting. It is active acceptance of the present moment. There will be moments when we feel like life is dragging its feet, when it seems that the world is indifferent to our desires. It can be disheartening when things don't unfold as we expect them to. It is normal to feel let down and wonder whether life is ignoring us or has forgotten about us when things seem to stall. Yet, this moment of waiting is not an interruption. It is an invitation to be present, to embrace the flow of life as it is, without resistance. Practicing patience is the first step in meeting the flow. Keep in mind that these moments of waiting do not mean that life is against you. Rather, they are opportunities for deeper acceptance and presence. Just as waiting for the right moment can lead to greater clarity, these pauses in life allow for growth, for deeper understanding, and for a stronger connection to the present moment. Being patient might seem difficult in today's world, where everything is moving at an incredibly fast pace. We are used to instant access to everything, quick solutions, fast responses, immediate gratification. However, life's true rhythm doesn't operate by these standards. Tolle teaches us that patience is about surrendering to the present moment. It's about knowing that whatever is unfolding is exactly what needs to happen. Surrender to what is. Say yes to life, and see how life starts working for you, Tolle advises. The price for this wise way is pain. Patience isn't easy, that much is clear. Dealing with delays, having our desires appear unmet, and feeling like time is slipping away isn't easy. Our confidence can waver, and the urge to intervene grows. Frustration and disappointment are often the result of trying to rush life's process. Recognize that patience is a practice that strengthens our inner peace and resilience. As Tolle explains, the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it. Our thoughts about time, about the future, and about what we think should be happening are what keep us from peace. By letting go of these thoughts, we can cultivate patience and trust in the unfolding of life. When we accept what is, we make room for transformation, growth, and new possibilities. Just as Tolle teaches in The Power of Now, we can find peace right here, in this moment. Our time spent waiting is not a waste. It's an opportunity to live fully in the present, to experience life without resistance, and to prepare ourselves for what is yet to come. Let us then practice patience, trusting that life is always in the perfect timing. Principle 3. Trust in the present moment. Don't let a mad world tell you that success is anything other than a successful present moment, Tolle writes. The future, with all its uncertainties, is the most fleeting part of time. Worrying about it only brings anxiety, while returning to the present moment allows us to tap into the peace that is always available. It is through embracing the now that we can release our worries and doubts, and trust that life is unfolding as it should. Thus, do not be discouraged if things are not moving as swiftly as you had thought, and do not undervalue the waiting periods. Life has more good things in store for you when the time comes, but only if you allow yourself to be present in the moment and embrace the process. You will experience a sense of fulfillment far beyond your expectations when you are truly ready to accept it. Everyone has desires, dreams, and aspirations, things we long to achieve, fix, or experience, but it's entirely natural to feel frustrated or anxious when the time seems to drag on, and to find yourself asking, when will this finally happen? However, sometimes the delay is not about the universe or life being inactive. It's about our own inability to be fully present in the moment and recognize that everything unfolds as it should. Even when we think we are prepared for the next step, if we truly tune into what is happening around us and within us, we see how much we still need to learn, grow, and process. Time, in this way, is a teacher. As Eckhart Tolle advises in The Power of Now, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. In the waiting, there is an opportunity to step into the fullness of the present and let go of the anxiety about what is yet to come. There are times when we feel the weight of the world on our shoulders, our hearts heavy with anxiety and longing. We may pray, hope, and search for answers, but the waiting feels unbearable. Yet, if we can look inward and take a breath, we may begin to understand that our impatience, our anxiety, and our desire to control things are often what keep us from moving forward. We become attached to our own vision of how things should unfold. But true peace comes when we release these expectations and allow life to unfold in its own time. This is something Eckhart Tolle consistently teaches: to release the need to control and to let go of the ego's grip on our lives. The past has no power over the present moment, he says. Indeed, the future is not something to worry about, but an opportunity to experience the beauty of the now. It is not the external circumstances that need to change, but our internal response to them. It's simply being aware. The waiting, the longing, the uncertainty, these are simply parts of the human experience, and they can become a source of peace when we stop resisting them. Allow yourself to be where you are, and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. So let's shift our perspective and approach waiting differently. Instead of feeling frustrated, see it as a form of growth. When we are not in a rush to move forward, we give ourselves the gift of presence. There is wisdom in stillness, and in that stillness, we open ourselves to everything that is happening in the present moment. We can embrace the waiting with a sense of gratitude, knowing that what is meant for us will come at the right time. Trust that life, in its infinite wisdom, is taking us where we need to go, even when we don't understand why certain things are not yet in place. Trust yourself. Think for yourself, Eckhart Tolle suggests in A New Earth. Trust yourself to be in the present, to surrender to the process, and to trust that you are exactly where you need to be right now. This is the essence of peace, the knowing that all is well, right now, and that the unfolding of life will happen in perfect timing. Allow David. The fourth principle: finding peace in the present moment. In our society, we are often taught to strive, to plan, and to look to the future. We are constantly told that happiness lies ahead, that success, fulfillment, or peace is just one step away. But Eckhart Tolle challenges us to rethink this. You do not have to wait for anything, he says. There is nothing to attain, nothing to achieve, nothing to become, except who you are right now. This is a radical shift in perspective. What if we stopped chasing after the future and began to fully embrace the present moment? In The Power of Now, Tolle emphasizes that peace is not something that comes after achieving a goal or solving a problem. It is something that we can experience in the here and now, regardless of our circumstances. It is not about waiting for the right moment, but realizing that the right moment is always now. The peace we seek is already present, within us, available at all times. When we surrender to the present moment, we stop resisting life as it is and allow ourselves to experience the fullness of the now. This is the essence of finding peace in God's timing as well. We may not understand the timing of events, but we can trust that everything is unfolding in alignment with a greater plan. Philippians 4:6-7 encourages us to not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thank goodness, with focus on everything, with a pursuit. When we stop worrying and let go of the need to control outcomes, we open ourselves to the peace that surpasses understanding. The present moment is all we have. It is the only time we can truly experience life, and it is the only time we can find peace. Eckhart Tolle teaches that we are not our past, nor our future, but we are the present moment. When we stop running from the now, we find ourselves at peace. And in that peace, we open the door to the flow of life, to the joy and abundance that is always available to us, no matter what our external circumstances may be. The fifth principle: trust in the flow of life. Eckhart Tolle's teachings are rooted in the idea that everything is interconnected, that life is a flow, and that we are a part of that flow. When we try to control or resist the flow, we create unnecessary suffering. Instead, we must learn to trust the flow of life, knowing that it is always guiding us in the right direction. Life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. Tolle states in A New Earth, this trust is not about knowing exactly how things will unfold, but about surrendering to the process and being open to what life brings. Trusting in the flow of life means releasing the need to control and accepting that sometimes we are exactly where we need to be, even if we don't understand it. It means allowing ourselves to rest in the certainty that the universe is unfolding as it should. When we trust this process, we let go of the tension and anxiety that arise when we try to force things to happen. We stop pushing against the current, and instead, we allow ourselves to be carried along by it. When we trust in this flow, we also trust that we are being prepared for what is to come. We may not know what lies ahead, but we can trust that every experience is shaping us and helping us grow. Life's challenges are not obstacles, but opportunities for transformation. As Tolle says, whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from the world. When we learn to trust the present, we open ourselves to the abundance of life. Trusting in the flow of life also means trusting that everything is happening for our ultimate good. Even when things seem difficult or uncertain, we can trust that there is a greater purpose behind it all. Everything you think you know is a story, Tolle says. A story that you have been telling yourself for a long time. When we let go of the story and trust in the flow, we allow ourselves to experience life as it truly is, without the filter of our fears and expectations. As we release control and embrace the flow of life, we enter into a space of peace, knowing that all is well and that everything will unfold in its own time. We begin to trust not just the timing of events, but the process itself. This is where true peace resides, when we let go of the need to control and accept that life is unfolding as it should. In order to develop as a person, and become more present in life, you have made the decision to view this video. This decision is the result of a deeper consciousness. Because of this, I strongly suggest that you subscribe to this channel because we upload new videos on a daily basis, which will allow you to continue your journey of the self-discovery process. When you recognize the significance of this message, please leave a remark with the word "now." Together, let's get this done.